Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another Bulletproof for BJJ podcast. Hi guys, I'm JT.
What's up, fam? I'm Joey. Pew, 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 pew.
Woo, fire in the booth. And today, fam, we're going to be talking about judo or wrestling. What is better for BJJ?
Oh, is this your garage accent?
A garage, yeah.
Garage. Or gabba.
Gabba. Fire in the booth. I wish we had more sound effects. But really, guys, this is a funny thing because we're going to discuss it more than dictate.
They're both fucked. Just do more jiu-jitsu.
They're hard.
I mean, more bulletproof.
It's very hard, isn't it? If you've done either, you'll know the stand-up fight is tough.
Mm-hmm.
I think what we're trying to get at here is if you can one day a week train something other than jiu-jitsu, should you choose to do a judo session or should you go and wrestle? And we can talk pros and cons for both.
Yep.
So having done both, they are both hard in different ways.
Both are going to benefit you.
Both will be beneficial.
Yep.
And I think from a fitness perspective, I suffer more from a fitness perspective with wrestling. Just the anaerobic, up and down, sprawl, shoot.
Super athletic.
Oh, it's so tough pushing your lactate threshold. But I have found judo harder on the body from fingers, getting thrown 100 times. Like it makes you tough.
Yeah.
Judo people are hard.
Yeah, well, it makes you good at dealing with pain.
Yeah.
Whereas wrestling makes you fitter.
Yeah, that's right. But it's a different kind of pain, like lactate pain versus I've just been thrown on the ground, I'm winded. Now I got to get back up and do it again.
Yeah, I do. I mean, the judo thing from, I fucked with it when I was like 8.
Yep.
So really, I don't know much about it. But
formative years.
Yeah, but looking at it from the outside, it looks like it's really hard on the body.
Yes.
And there's that suffering, and that suffering makes you tough and hard, and it makes you, of course, like grips and whatnot, and just getting tossed and like no big deal. But it doesn't, like if you look at wrestling, you're like, man, it is infinitely more dynamic.
Yes.
Level changes and explosive.
Scrambles.
Yeah, and like a lot of dynamic mobility in there. And
Yep.
like in terms of a carryover, I feel like there's got to be a lot more in the wrestling world.
I agree with that. And, this has kind of been, I guess, echoed or stated because I had this conversation with Lockie Giles many years ago because I was doing both. I was doing wrestling and I was doing judo.
You still doing judo?
I haven't done it recently, but I will be back on that. Okay. I will be back. I kind of had a bit of a debate because I kind of hurt my hand. But it's like I think the thing for me is not turning it into a competition, just turning it into learning because I want to feel very confident on my feet. Yeah. So it doesn't matter who I'm rolling. I feel good for the takedown. But no, I mean, Lockie had said that whether you train gi or no gi, wrestling will give you better overall development. So even if you're not a competitor and you're not trying to get a black belt, you're just trying to be a better grappler, you will have more crossover from training wrestling because you can do moves in wrestling in no gi as well as in the gi. But can you do the same moves from judo in no gi? Not necessarily.
No.
Yeah, there's adaptations there, but gripping the lapel and the sleeve is a very big part of the judo game.
Yeah.
So if you're doing no gi more, and no gi is getting more popular, so
absolutely.
That said, the rise of wrestling.
Yeah, and I think that just the benefits outside of the technique specific stuff, the athleticism. I mean, that's anyone that's rolled with a wrestler you can speak to. Fuck, they're so fit and
Yes.
they can go hard.
Yep.
And I think like that's desirable for any jiu-jitsu players. Like if you can be fitter and you can go harder for longer,
Yep.
amazing.
But just move well.
Yeah.
Talk our man.
So like a friend of ours, Pavel.
The Mandem.
Pav. He was a coach here at Jungle Brothers, and now he's up at Jungle Ballina with Tiora. He's coaching up there, and he's from Slovakia, and he was a wrestler since he was 6 years old.
Wow.
He's multiple time over. Like if you could classify it, he'd be black belt, many stripes.
Yes.
In wrestling, doesn't wrestle anymore because it's given him some injuries, and he's like happy to live without the pain. But managed to draw him into a role.
A bit of a grapple.
Yeah, when I was up there last, maybe it was 3 weeks ago now, and I was like, "You want to do a round puff?" And he was like, "Yeah, go on." Like, big smile, and we're doing some, just a no-gi roll, and obviously I couldn't take him down.
Yes,
right. You would assume, But and to Pav's credit, he's done a bit of no-gi jits as well. And he's done MMA.
He's got submissions.
Yeah, like he's very well rounded.
He's capable. He should be a blue belt. He's very capable.
Yeah. But so like it was playful. I let him kind of enter and throw me a couple times, but he fucking threw me like fireman's and then like double leg and and what I noticed was that he would in jiu-jitsu, you guys can speak to this. You guys know this. You shoot once and then you reset and then okay, what are we going to try next? Pav would go first shot, second shot, third, fourth, like hit. And so each time it's slightly weakening your defenses. It's off balancing you. He's hitting you again. And then the fourth time he gets it. Yeah. And I'm like, fuck. Just the ability to be able to do that. Yeah. But then, so I pulled guard on him and, we played around there for a little bit and I had him in butterfly guard and he was so good at keeping his hips back. Yep. Because that's his whole thing. He's just like, I'm not going to let you get in under my hips. Yeah. I couldn't do anything. And he couldn't pass my guard, but pretty great. Like he couldn't get, he was up against a black belt, didn't get subbed. True. Didn't get swept, right? Yeah. So it's like his wrestling base was extremely adequate. Amazing. And for dealing with me. Yes. And obviously like we're just talking a bit of fun here, but that's wrestling, right? It's like I'm keeping my hips back and I'm not letting you in and I'm keeping my arms tight. And if you look at jiu-jitsu, it's like, well, if you can keep your hips out of the way, you're not getting in a leg entanglement. You're keeping pressure with the upper body. And if you can keep your arms tight, you're not going to there's no triangles, there's, no arm bar. So it was like, fuck, there's so much good stuff in that. Definitely. And look, even like wrestling with Talgut back in the day, shout out Talgut Ilsanov, who's actually gone back to Uzbekistan. Bit of a loss for us, but essentially. You trained with him back in Melbourne? I did train with him in Melbourne. I did privates with him. I wrestled with him at his own place where he taught. And man, he's just such a humble, low key kind of guy. One time as a demonstration, because he would never wrestle me fully, and he's a kind of lightweight, 72 kilo guy, but exceptionally strong, can just do a backflip, just super easy. He said, okay, go to turtle. He's like, now try and get up. And he was just like whipping me side to side, like just not allowing me to stand. Wow. At no point couldn't get out of turtle. I couldn't stand. I couldn't at any point find base to stand up. He was just like pulling my ankle, pushing my shoulder side to side. He wasn't trying to take my back. He was just toying with me. Like, you can't stand up, can you? And I was just like, he was demoing for someone else. But he's trying to give an example of how you can really control somebody without having to grind them. Right. Just by manipulating their limbs and off balance and push, shove. Oh, bro. It just, and it's demoralizing. But I guess what I wanted to say to this is I feel like, at least from my experience of judo has become a little bit archaic because in judo, you cannot grab the legs now. At a critical point, the International Judo Federation, Japan, said, man, these Russians and Dagestanis they're killing us. Because there was a time when there was like two Russian brothers who were absolutely smoking because they were very high level wrestlers, but maybe not good enough to go to the Olympics for Russia, put gis on those boys. They were just double legging and single legging all of them. Right. And so the federation at a critical point went, no more. No leg attacks. No leg grabs. And amazing. Now Japan's winning all the championships again. And this was the same with Taekwondo. Yeah. They changed the rules. But I think if we look at what we're... Same with Jiu-Jitsu, they're like, you get 1 point for a takedown. Yeah. Or would you get 2 points? It is, it's 2. It's like not much. No, they not enough to make it worth it. They don't want to reward it too much because also you can just pull guard. Yeah. But if we're just thinking about you're out there and you're thinking about how do I get better at this, or physically, how can I get better? Like people saying, how do I get fitter? I just say wrestle. Like if you want to push your cardio, just do stand-up rounds. It's crazy what it'll do for you. I think when I look at judo, even though I love judo, I think it's amazing. Judo feels more of the same. There is a lot of shrimping, running in circles. It's a little bit more old school. There is value in that. But if you could mix up your training to be a better grappler, I'm leaning towards wrestling. Yeah, me too, for sure. Benefit in both, but if you had to pick one, wrestling class is going to give you a lot of benefit. Definitely. Just want to give a quick shout out. We had a guy come through on the Instagram. Okay. Fella named Steve. Can I just share this real quick? Please do. Steve said, it's fucking awesome. Where is it? bring it up right here. Should have had it ready, but hey, what the fuck are you gonna do?
Professionalism.
Steve said,
And guys, if you want to send us a message, we reply to all messages.
all of them.
I mean, look, give it 12 months, we'll probably be too famous. We'll have someone else do it for us.
Get him
But
while you can.
in the meantime, yeah.
Steve said, hey guys, just wanted to thank you for the program. Only twice a week with great results. He's training twice a week.
Nice.
I recently went on vacation and someone took a picture of me by the pool and I was dreading looking at it. I was a fat kid and I still have some body dysmorphia. I couldn't believe the guy I saw in the photo. My only problem is now my girlfriend thinks I may be getting too big.
That's awesome.
How fucking awesome is that?
That's so good.
You're the man, Steve. Thanks for being part of the fam.
Shout out, bro.
Thanks for listening, guys. Catch you next week.
See you.